First of all, training. Training is key. You need to, preparation is key for anything. When it comes to shows for dancing, you have to be able to understand the choreography, the sentiment behind it. Of course, formations if you're working with other people. And yes, just knowing your material, you have to come prepared.
They hate when you elevate. You're stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode. It is your host, Xpress, reporting live from Mastermind Media. Just want to say thank you again. And we are back on Express Yourself with Xpress. And today, I have an amazing, talented, far out this world, because she came far to be here again, Miss Emiko Ishii.
Hello, Preston. Thank you so much for having me today.
No, thank you. I appreciate that we're still able to pick up off that good energy that we actually met off of. So just let them know kind of how this even came about.
So because I literally just moved to LA 5 months ago, and I literally just got my driving license in UK, and then I got my driving license in LA. So I'm a proper Angelina driver, I believe, now. And I was running out of gas, so I thought I'll, top it up. And then when I went, and just because I didn't even know how to use the machines, that's how embarrassing it is. You can tell I'm not a driver. So I went into the actual gas station, and then lo and behold, who's before me is Mr. Preston here. And he just had such a nice energy. He greeted me with a smile, and he was like, and I just thought, oh my goodness, this person is giving me such great vibes. And just from this one interaction, he also told me about his podcast. And I was like, I really love your energy. And he said the same thing about me. So we just vibed from that. And then here we are today.
This is amazing. I'm literally about to just go ahead and, get very, very comfortable. It's very rare when I can actually feel this instantly. And that's what it was with you and I. I appreciate just having a similar openness to others and stuff like that, because people won't be able to appreciate who and what you are if you don't show it. So I used to tell my staff, even though this is a profession, show your personality. People gravitate more towards that, and real recognize real. So let the audience know where you're originally from, and we'll get to your family upbringing.
Oh, right. Well, I am London born and bred, so made in the UK. My heritage is Japanese, so I'm 100% Japanese as well, because both my parents are.
Okay.
Yes.
Heck yeah, look at that. Any siblings or anything like that? Did you have to fight over, who gets the remote first and who's watching
absolutely.
TV first?
I have one younger sister. She's 1.5 years younger. We're very close. But because you're close, you can imagine, of course we had our little fights when we were younger, but that's just inevitable, and I'm the older sister. So the younger sibling always gets away with everything, right?
You're absolutely right. I'm unfortunately the only boy, and there's nothing but younger sisters. So it's like having to protect people who are going to go get in some mess anyways. And since you have a background in fighting, you're just going to have to fight some situations for them.
Oh, absolutely. My sister's a little tough cookie as well. So she's pretty feisty. And she's one of those sisters that like to hug you very, very tightly because she knows that annoys you.
Oh, wow.
And even though you're trying to push them away, she'll be like, she's literally like tentacles. Her hands are like tentacles. They just don't come off.
She sucks to you and just sticks there. But I will say fighting, that's a big thing within the family from there. So before we get into your illustrious career, who in your household would you say was the person that inspired you to get into a martial arts background?
Oh, my goodness. It wasn't actually my parents, because actually my parents are, they're very, very hardworking. They're from the corporate world. I think more than anything, it was because I used to watch, well, actually, it's probably my father, if I have to say, because I grew up watching a lot of martial arts films, and it was mainly Jackie Chan films. So from Drunken Master, and then, my goodness, Chuck Norris.
Oh, exactly. Wow. Walker, Texas Ranger right there. That was big in my house, too, with my grandfather.
My father loves action films, so I grew up watching action films. And also, every year, my birthday, without fail, we'll go and watch a Bond film. So, yeah, that was our thing. That was my birthday theme. So I think when I went to watch Tomorrow Never Dies with Michelle Yeoh, that was the first time I was like, you know what? I want to be like her. She's badass. She's strong. And she just seemed like the most badass female Bond in, over the years that I've seen it. So, Yeah, I think if I would say if he instigated or planted a seed, it would have been my father. And also he made us do sumo wrestling outside in our free time. So
Sumo wrestling. That's
Now, did you
hilarious.
guys did he make like the fake suits for you guys to be in, or you guys just naturally just went out there and just did sumo wrestling?
you know what? I wish he did, because that would have been 10 times more fun. No, it's the authentic way of like doing the, the traditional way. And he used to always say, you always have to fight. You always have to, push forward. And, so in that sense, I think that was a metaphor that he used sumo wrestling as an analogy for that.
Yes.
At the time, I didn't know. I was thinking, oh my God, he's making us do sumo wrestling in the garden.
Completely like we messing up the tulips out here.
Actually, the girls my age would be in, they were playing Barbie and everything. I wanted a G.I. Joe, which we didn't get. I got a Cindy
action.
instead, actually.
You got a Cindy? You didn't get what, everybody else typically was having because you wasn't the typical individual. So,
Yeah.
so
Oh.
speaking of that, you action star, Bollywood star, motion caption for different things and stuff like that. What gives you like the drive to really go after a lot of these things that you accomplished? And how did it even start?
Oh my goodness, that is a loaded question.
Yes.
And I hope I can give you a loaded answer. Well, to be honest, I think my whole life I've been taught by my parents that to experience the world, the more you know about the world, the more you're going to develop and a more wholesome human you're going to be. And I always loved sports, and I always believed in, I see my parents juggling so many things in one go. So I think naturally I kind of moved to that as well. So from a young age, I was doing sports, from karate, hockey, netball, and then also music, because, Asian parents, they want you to do ballet and piano and the violin. Exactly. And it was mainly, at the time, it was because they wanted me to get into a good university. So the more I have behind my back, then, the more desire I'll be as a candidate in the future. But I think more than anything, I just took so much interest in different things. And when it came to martial arts, it was something that just, you can't do martial arts if you're thinking about other things. It's the only thing you can focus at the time. And it just makes you really become a very focused individual in terms of dancing, because I started with ballet. It gives you that discipline, the respect to others, discipline, and also knowing your body, being very body aware. So I think, and then when it came to acting drama, it was about confidence, because I wasn't a confident individual when I started. I was very quiet. I was that typical Asian girl in the back, very quiet, very diligent, hardworking, keep my head down. But then I think when I found acting when I was 13 and I was on the school play, that's when I thought, oh my gosh, this is home for me. And it naturally just progressed from that. And from there, I thought the more skills I develop, the more skills I take on, the more I can give onto the screen, the more I can give as a human being. But it's also making me so much more of a well-rounded individual. So that's how it came about, really.
Versatility is key. In order to survive in any form of industry, you have to be versatile and have your hand in a few different things and stuff like that.
Exactly. And you must know, like, knowledge is also power. You just, if you know more things, and it also, everything kind of helps. One skill can also assimilate into another. You could transfer it into different places. And I have to say, like, my martial arts can help me with my dance help me with my martial arts. And then with everything else, with the confidence, the acting also does help, because you have to put all of those things together at one point.
Completely.
Yeah.
So what are some of your, the practices that you take on to prepare yourself mentally and physically to be able to perform at the high rate that you do?
First of all, training. Training is key. You need to, preparation is key for anything. When it comes to shows for dancing, you have to be able to understand the choreography, the sentiment behind it. Of course, formations if you're working with other people. And yes, just knowing your material, you have to come prepared. Same with martial arts. When I'm doing any kind of martial arts competition, to be honest with that, again, it's being able to completely be focused and to calm. I think a lot of the times people always think that you have to be putting a lot of power, and then your adrenaline comes up, and then it can go completely
It's
tits
all about
up.
flow.
Exactly. I think when you calm yourself down, when you take a moment to breathe in and then relaxation is key, actually, ironically, in martial arts. So in that sense, I think that also allows you to flow. with acting, same thing. You just have to be in that mindset. So having that preparation to be able to know yourself and to know how you could be when you're stressed, to be able to, calm yourself down and to kind of get balanced. I think that's the main training that you have to have throughout everything.
Because you got some training. I saw a black belt somewhere around there, So this is not the person you want to end up in a dark alley with on the wrong end of that. You will get jacked up, and I'm not even playing. Look at her page and everything like that. You will see that she is a master at work.
You're so kind.
No, I'm just being honest and just truly being a fan of your work. Like when I was doing my, my blast from the past, which we'll get to, which is my dope segment. It was very hard for me to really pick this one. There was so many different things within your background that it just is amazing, and it's still continuing. So let's talk about Bollywood.
Ooh, yes.
How did you get into Bollywood?
Wow, Bollywood. So I was that girl who went into the library to rent, at the time, DVDs. And I love the world cinema section because I love film. I grew up watching film. I'm a film major as well, but more than anything, because I love different cultural films, I used to go into the library and then I rented out for the first time an Indian film. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but it was called Devdas. Yes. And that's the first time I got exposed to the beautiful and vibrant world of Bollywood, where you see the dancing, the drama called nakra. And then when I saw the dancing, I was like, this dance is so beautiful. Like, what is this? And I researched it, and I saw that it was Bollywood. Of course, they've got Kathak in there. But at the time, I only knew about Bollywood. So I looked for classes of Bollywood dancing. And at the time, there was only one class that was available in Fulham Broadway at Dance Attic. Went to that class. Very nervous, and then I met Shweta Agrawal, who had 3B Dance Company, and she saw me in that one class, and then she invited me back to her company rehearsals. I was so scared. I actually didn't turn up to her class for 3 weeks because I thought, oh, maybe this is a scam.
This is a scam.
But then I just thought, I just loved how I felt when I was in that class. I went back to her class again. She was like, look, just come to the rehearsal, and just see how you feel. And then if you like it, you can continue. And then the rest was history. I was with her for 5 years. And I think the biggest thing, we've done so many big shows with her, but I think the biggest one was Britain's Got Talent in 2010, where we were the first Bollywood company to get to the semi-finals.
I'm telling you guys, look up her platform, look up all of her stuff. You'll be amazed, because I'm just amazed sitting here. And this is genuine, because I can't wait till I show you the blast from the past so you can see some of the things. But, with Bollywood, it's really taken over. And I mean, to the point to where they're putting it in Marvel films and stuff like that. So it's being more out there, it's being more showcased. So what are some ways that you would actually tell the audience, how to get more into it?
With Bollywood, I think first of all, watch the films, because that's the first thing that you're going to realize, that there's so many different, depending on which part of India it's been made, from Hollywood, Collywood, you've got so many different sides of Bollywood. But of course, expose yourself to that, because and of course the dancing. If you want to be, I think, in the Bollywood industry, first of all, you have to love the films.
Right.
First, and then second of all, I think just expose yourself to the dancing as well, because there's a lot of dancing in Bollywood films. Of course, if you watch, certain films like Dangal, they won't have as many of that musical theatre aspect to it, and it's more about the drama and the story. But if you love the dancing part, definitely take yourself to a Bollywood class. And also there are other Indian style forms. So you've got classical, from Bharatanatyam to Kathak. You've got the folk style, Garba, and you've got, Bengali style. You've got so many different aspects. I think more than anything, you have to know yourself, what you like the most, because if you're passionate about it, then everything's just going to flow. Everything's going to develop, and you're going to want to put yourself into that and excel in the dancing side of things, in the acting side. Of course, in India, you have to be able to speak Hindi in Bollywood films.
Right.
So, of course, that would also very much help, because then you'll understand the sentiment behind it, because we do use our facial expressions, our abhinaya, to tell a story. So I think, if you want to get into Bollywood, just, throw yourself in there, and you just never know what's going to come about. I didn't think I was ever going to be in the Indian industry, the Bollywood industry. And I just fell into it, and I fell in love with it. And I never thought in a million years I'll be sitting here today thinking that I've made a career out of it.
Right.
And I'm so truly grateful. You know, you just never know when you put yourself into something that you never thought, like how it can blossom.
That's how I got here. I literally have recordings in this phone from conversations and stuff from 2016, 2017.
Oh, wow.
And it was just more so just being positioned in a place with a solid team around me to educate people with these conversations and get people to stop suffering in silence, stop hiding their hurt so they can heal from it and persevere over the no's that they're going to get in life to do the things that they really want to do, despite what people say.
Absolutely. Have you done Bollywood dancing before, Preston?
No, I have not. But, you know, on top of a lot of things I've been invited to recently, like hot yoga, they've been telling me that supposedly that helps with it too, limbering it up and being flexible. Because I've seen the dance moves and stuff like that. And I'm a dancer. Not too many people know about that, but in my personal life,
Truth comes out.
I do dance, but the choreography dancing that you do and everything is amazing. And like you said, you have to be not just mentally prepared, but physically prepared. So training and everything. So what are some of the training that you did for, let's say, with your stunts, your action stunts and stuff?
Oh my goodness. So with action, it's first and foremost, I did karate, boxing, Muay Thai boxing, and then I started Eskrima later. But in that sense, again, it, like you said, the mental and physical preparation comes first in the dojo as well.
Right.
And you know, absolutely just training for years in it, basically. But then I didn't think that there was a correlation between film and martial arts at first. And when just because, you know, I didn't know how that can come in hand at one point.
Even though
you're
you
an
grew up
actress.
watching it.
Exactly. But in terms of how can I apply those skills into the film side of things, rather than just being an action star, we didn't really know about stunts at the time, you know, and how you can come into it. So then I came across the British Action Academy.
Okay.
And that's back in UK. And they pretty much train you, because of course when you're doing martial arts hand-to-hand combat in a real setting, it's not the same as what you do in film. It's completely different. You have to think about the distance, safety, and also how the movements are going to read on the camera. So that's the main thing. The camera is the law. So in that sense, how you have to adapt your body and with your partner to be able to, you know, make that believable on set, not just emotionally, but physically. So then that's where the British Action Academy really helped us, because it not only helped us with understanding the filmic side of things, but also to make sure that you're safe. Because I think more than anything, people forget about the safety of yourself, but also others. Because if you're fighting someone else, you have to make sure they're safe. And if you're doing many takes at a time, you have to make sure you can still live
People
up.
get fatigued.
Exactly. And that you're not getting punched up or anything like that, you know? So I think in that way, and they armed us with, of course, unarmed combat, but also with weapons.
Oh,
So the
I
weapon
saw you
system.
swinging a real sword around. I seen that. I'm telling y'all, this is not the one y'all want to mess with. Very educated.
Yeah, so I think I went through 4 phases. So you got phases 1 to 4, and they're very intense. I mean, Andreas Petrides, I mean, he's the one who is the CEO of BAA, but he, you know, you have to think about your energy, your, you know, how you're going to, knowing the choreography, everything that works for camera. And I honestly say some of the weapon systems I've never encountered. So to be able to really be able to be to wield those with finesse, and yeah, it was so much fun, because that's when I think I first realized, even when you're you know dying, like how you're going to fall, how you're going to react, how to react to punches, falls, you know, gunshots, those kind of things, you know, all come into play when you're working with film and stunts, right? So I think in that way, he set out the foundation for me. And then once I got that, then I made sure that I took more classes in wire work, firearms. And I think you just have to just keep developing your skills, keep at it, because the more that you develop your skills and your understanding, the better you're going to be when you're standing in front of that camera.
Right. And this is going to actually pivot into my next question on this. Have you sustained any serious injuries? And how long has the duration of the time you've been out from with the injury?
Oh, yes. Being a performer, physical performer, that is going to happen. That's just inevitable. But actually for me, it happened during a show and I slipped. It wasn't from doing hardcore, fighting. It was literally me leapfrogging over someone and I landed on the carpet, which was it was new and slippery. I slipped, dislocated my knee and then I fell. But even at that, I crawled off stage hopefully with finesse, made sure my other dancers were, kept dancing. But after that, I was on crutches. And the first thing the doctor said to me was, you should find another career because once you tear your ACL, that's it. It's going to take you a year to recover if you're lucky. And then, of course, to build up. But with what I do, as a profession, they said it's not sustainable. Of course, being a performer, I ignored that. And I'm glad I did.
Completely. And I'm glad you did too.
I think more than anything, you understand your body the best. I mean, in one, and I probably shouldn't reveal this, but I am going to because I am actually truly grateful for this. So at the time I was doing a theatre production and I went from hospital the next day, I went to the 8-hour rehearsal for this theatre production. And the director said to me, she saw me on crutches and then she said to me, well, I need to see you that you are able to walk because of course in this theatre production you need to be able to walk from one place to another. If you can't, I'm going to have to replace you. I think that's when I realized artists are expendable. We are easily replaced. And that was the only thing I had at the time because I had to get cover for my dance classes, my dance shows. That was the only thing I had going for me. And I remember crying to her saying, this is all I have. Can you just give me a chance? Let me do this rehearsal and I'll prove to you that I can do it. I think I dropped my crutches and I walked to the other side of the room. And that was the first time, that was the day before I had the accident. And then to walk across and having that self-belief. And I think that really helped me. But it made me grow as a person as well. Because I wouldn't advise it for anyone else. I was being stubborn. So safety first for everyone. But I think that's when I realized, okay, right. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. Now, at the same time, a month later, I had a stunt job to do. And and I think, and I shouldn't reveal what it is just because I want to. So I probably shouldn't be saying this because, of course, I went on crutches on set. And then the stunt coordinator, he put my crutches in the back saying, if you trust me, I'll make sure that you're safe. And luckily the stunt was literally being hauled into the back of a boot of a car.
Okay, so it was pretty simple.
Yeah, it was pretty simple. But of course, I couldn't even bend my legs at the time because, I had my operation and it was very stiff. But again, having people, the right people around you to support yourself and believing in yourself, I think, anything is possible. And I think I hopefully proved that day.
Oh, completely.
Did the job. So I think needless to say, I was out for a year technically, but I was literally in the gym pretty much every day to build up my knees and also had a physio,
Perseverance for sure. Yep. For sure. So that injury was about a year that it took you out, but you still were in the game. You still were working towards, your goals and stuff like that. Absolutely.
I think especially in those times, I think it's so easy to feel, it is debilitating mentally and physically because you take it for granted when you have your health. And I think those times you have to think to yourself, okay, this is also an opportunity. It's such a strange way of thinking, but you also have to think, this is an opportunity for me to focus on something else that I wasn't able to do when I was doing all of these things. So that's when I think I took up Tai Chi and then I worked on my acting more. So it gave me an opportunity to focus on something else that I was still able to do. It didn't stop me. And I think that's the main thing I want to make sure that everyone realizes. Injuries are debilitating. However, keep going. Think of another way that you could sustain your time and so that you could still build your skills up. So when you're recovered, then you've got more things to be able to work on.
I completely agree. I had a life-altering, situation back in September of last year, and that's what made me pivot from what I was doing then to what I'm doing now. Sometimes being put in tough situations will make you make the best decision for your situation.
Exactly.
And for me, it was just making sure that what I put out is for the world. It's not for me. That's why it's Express Yourself with Xpress. It's all about the individuals coming on to really tell their stories and express themselves to help the next person come forth and express them.
I'm really glad to hear that. Have you ever done express yourself for yourself, where someone else asks you questions?
We'll be getting to that. You know, we got the stylist queen behind the scenes, Jai.
Hello.
And she got an amazing podcast going on right now too. Definitely want to shout that out.
Oh,
you know,
thanks.
Nah, thank you. You know what? That's amazing, and it definitely should be done. My first episode was just basically a brief synopsis on where I was and what's to come, but it didn't dive deep into the what and why I made the pivot from what I was doing then to what I'm doing now. And respectfully, I've been teetering around it because it is a sensitive subject or whatever, and it is near and dear to me to put a lot into something, and then it doesn't go the way that it should go based on, I guess, different perspectives. And instead of everyone coming in with the same goal and putting 300% in, it was bits and pieces, and it was, I guess, ulterior motives and agendas, and it was not the product that it should be.
But I think that it's pivotal for you to do that, just because, you know, for us, you know, we're getting interviewed by you, but it's always good to know, you know, who the person is behind the mic, you know, who's asking those questions. And I think knowing your side of the story as well is extremely important for us as an audience. And
Thank you.
And I want to know more.
We will get there. We will get there very, very soon, so we can, you know, get over that hump, because it is one, but it's one that the world deserves and needs to know. And just like the world deserves and needs to know about me, it's the time for us to do our blast from the past so they can get to see and know about you.
Oh my goodness.
Nice segue.
I'm working. and I love what I do. Just like you were saying, like, if you're going to do something, make sure you're doing it and you love it and it fulfills you. And this does. Like, you know, if I miss a beat, it's killing me more internally than anyone knows. And because I'm working smarter and harder and preparing myself just in case something goes left or right in life to where this product can still be presented, there's going to be times where, oh man, I have to miss a week, but the product still goes on. Consistency is the key, but I love what I do. So yeah.
You can see that, you know, which is why I'm here.
No.
I felt that.
Hey, real recognize real, like I said.
Let's get into this blast from the past.
Oh my goodness. Should I be nervous? Oh
Maybe,
my goodness.
Maybe. Did a little research. So let us have a little taste of Bollywood.
Ooh. Yeah, I remember this. This is Bring on the Bollywood. Directed by Samir Bumrah. Yeah, this is when we were out in Oxford doing the tour. And and then they were like, oh, can you just do a jump? Do a Bollywood pose, but jump please. So that's how this came about.
You guys look awesome.
That looks amazing. Very charismatic, and you guys look in sync with each other, which is
I know,
always
which is
a plus.
incredible, which is hard to do when you're doing a jumping pick. If you've ever done one of those, it is hard.
Getting everyone to land at the same time.
Yeah, but it goes to show, you know, the dancers around me were extremely professional, and honestly, individually and personally, I know all of them, and they're extremely talented. So I was very lucky to be among one of them.
Man, I'm sure they feel the same way. Great energy, and I know they got a taste of it too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're putting out the stuff.
Let's go on to the next one. Like I said,
wow,
badass. Please.
Wow, that's awesome.
So this is by Amari Studios, and he is the best. I'm going to say he is the best action photographer. And you know what? One thing is with photography, I hate my pictures being taken. I feel very awkward. I feel so awkward.
I'm not photogenic.
When it comes to like headshots, I just literally, it looks like a mugshot, you know, for me. So
well, it's different. You're pretty. I'm just, you know, just a guy, you know, pretty decent.
Look at my headshots and you'll realize. But I was very lucky with him. He just made me feel so comfortable, and you could see that he's passionate about UI. He really understands how to get the best of someone out of someone in this, and this is. Yeah, one of the things I was like, you know what? Let's just do my katana shot then. Yep, I was definitely channeling the, you know, Emiko Ishii vibes.
For real.
Yeah.
Now, so cool.
Is that sword real?
This one isn't real because I think I would have cut my shoulder if I placed it there. No, this is one of the training swords that I was able to use.
It looks real freaking amazing though.
Well, that's the idea. If it looks real, that's us doing our job properly, isn't it?
Was this for something in particular, or was it just like for your portfolio?
This was also for my portfolio, but it's been used a lot with in conjunction with anything action related. So yes, I was very lucky to get this shot.
Wow.
Bam.
Oof. Oh my gosh, this brings back memories. The big bus tour in UK, again, with my Bollywood dance company, Africa Dance. I've got all these fantastic dancers, but this is actually one in our early stages because that's our old costumes. But
Yep.
yes, it's literally sharing the Bollywood love. We used to do performances and then teach workshops all over the UK. And that's what the big dance bus tour was all about. And and as you can see, the bus is really cool as well. It's a real bus. But yeah, oh my gosh, all these dancers, they're, again, incredible dancers, so hardworking. I was very lucky to have the dancers that I did have, back then and now, because it's evolved a lot. So yeah, it's nice to see like these pictures because it's like, oh my gosh,
Did
those
some
were our
homework for
costumes.
this one.
I know, my hair was red at the time as well.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
What is, because it shocked me that you were a part of Bollywood, but it is a part of the Asian community, right? How accepting is Bollywood of anyone that is outside of the Asian community? Or at least, because you're Asian and they are Asian as well, but like, what does that look like?
I have to admit, I was very lucky because I think Bollywood in general, the dancing style is very, very accessible. But I have to admit, there are times where I have been on a film set, a Bollywood film set, even when I was working with clients, when I said that I'm Japanese, they did question whether I knew my Bollywood or my Indian dancing in general. And they were like, you are doing Indian dance, right? Bollywood, Indian dance. I was like, yes, I am. And I think there was one time I had to say, look, just let me do my job. Let me perform for you. If you're not happy with it, I'll give you my money back. Yeah. And in the end, I mean, she was very happy, but there are times where of course they're going to be tentative because they're thinking, okay, someone who's non-South Asian is representing our cultural dance. But at the same time, there's some people that can do it so much better, you know? So I think it doesn't matter where you're from. That's the beauty of Bollywood. It doesn't matter what background you're from, what age, what, skill sets you have. It's so accessible to anyone. And I think if you love it and you can show that to people, then people are so accepting. In fact, they're so impressed and they want to see more of it. So I've been very lucky. And I think that's the main thing with my company. I really wanted to make sure that every style was represented true to its form. So all these dancers went through Kathak training, Bhangra training, Garba, everything from the foundation so that they could represent it and also become more knowledgeable about the dance as well so that people watching it could really appreciate, that they're representing.
And represented to the fullest.
Exactly.
And very passionate.
That was a great answer.
Bam.
Bring on the Bollywood again.
Yes.
I love this. It was a 6-month tour. And I probably shouldn't say this again, but I did have an injury during this time. And I tore my meniscus. And
That happened to be the leg that's up?
yeah, that happens to be the leg
figured.
that's up. Yeah, exactly. But I was very lucky again because again, I already had my ACL tear like a year before that, or 2 years before that. So when I tore my meniscus, I thought, okay, I knew what I was doing, exactly what I was doing. And yeah, it was in the first half of the tour. So I was like, oh gosh, I still have 3 months of it left. And I was doing like 2 performances that day. And I think this was the press release of Bring on the Bollywood. And I remember thinking, I'm so lucky to be here and I love it. And it was just such a great tour just because of the people that you're working with. The show itself was incredible. And this was definitely one of the best press releases during that tour. So
You're styling and profiling, injured or not.
yeah, you would never
love the
know.
heels.
Thank you. Ooh, the mistake.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
Yes, elaborate on this, please.
Michael Mears. So this was a production about the bombings in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and also about the first person that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. So we've got Michael Mears who wrote the play. And he also acted in it himself. He's extremely talented. My goodness. He also does a lot of one-man shows as well. But I was very lucky to be on this because it was something that's very close to my heart because my grandmother, is a survivor from World War II as well. She wasn't in Hiroshima or Nagasaki, she was in Tokyo, but she was telling me so many times, like when I was younger, about the bombings and how we're so lucky to not be in a world where there's, of course, active wars where, where there was bombings every single day.
It happens more frequently.
Of course. And it was very topical because at the time the war in Ukraine was happening as well.
Yeah.
So in that sense, it really, I think, was such a topical subject, but also in terms of it reflected on what was happening with the people. A lot of the times the focus is on, who dropped it, but a lot of the times people don't know the actual reality of what happened on the ground in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and what the repercussions were and how people survived and how those that didn't, how many people passed away. And from actually this was taken from Black Rain, the influence of Black Rain, but also from one of the diaries of the survivors of the Hiroshima bombings. So I was representing one of those survivors, and then also the voices of those that, wanted to, interview General Paul Tibbets, who was the first person that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. And I think, all the questions that you would probably want to ask him, how did you feel? Did you feel any guilt? Or anything like that? Those kind of questions came into play, and he really beautifully brought it into this one play. And, with Oppenheimer, that just came out as well. Again, that's this perspective of one side. We don't see what happened.
Right. We see the cause, but we don't understand the effect.
Exactly.
And then the people that are affected don't even get to ask why the cause even happened.
Exactly.
And that's what this bridged.
And this bridged that gap. And I think the fact that it was a play, it was live, it was, we're both playing like several characters in one play. That really allowed me to explore the different perspectives of this. And, it just made you realize it's tough, regardless of whichever side you are on. It's not easy to drop a bomb. It's like you had difficult decisions to make. And at the time, if he was taking orders, that's something you can't really say, well, you should feel guilty for. I mean, of course, it's horrendous what he did, but I think it just goes to show he had to make tough decisions.
Wow.
Voila.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Yes,
Another
Loani.
styling and profiling.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I really enjoyed this. I did a lot of I think reggaeton dancing in this one. But this one is empowering women. So this was an event where I won an award for, I think it was, representing dance and the arts, and also helping others to empower women and to get them to realize their own strength and to also develop on their own strength. And I think this event basically celebrated women and women in different fields, making, a difference in the world, but also the idea of leadership, how women are, leaders in what they do and how they can help others to reach the same goals.
Wow. Definitely. When I was doing my research, it was I was just coming across the whole thing. I was like, man, it's International Women's Day at the time. And I was like, how can I pull something from that to give more support to that? And I was like, well, she already got some amazing work right here, so let's go ahead and just put that up there on the screen.
And I love that dress, by the way. It was so much fun to dance in.
Bam, like I said, badass right here.
Shout out to Omari Studios, who took all of these shots. And this pretty much encapsulates my love for the action.
You're such a main character.
For reals. Like, and I just want you to know, she is very educated with these things. She don't need the weaponry. She can use her hands and feet. So, yes, let's just talk a little bit about like how much time and devotion actually goes into you preparing for these roles.
Oh my goodness, a lot. Again, we discussed this. Preparation is key. The more you're prepared, the better you're going to feel and confident you're going to feel. And, people that you work with are just going to, love working with you. So in that sense, with the firearms, I was...
How much are you in a shooting range?
Oh goodness. In UK, not so much because of course it's
gun
not
laws.
legal. Yeah, gun laws. Here I think I went trigger happy when I was in Vegas.
It does happen.
It was like the opportunity arose. I was able to go there and oh my goodness, use these, MP5s. But no, here I think the main thing is respecting the weapon that you're using. I think the more you know about it, the more respect you have and the power it has when you've got it in your hand. So you just want to make sure that you're safe. Safety is key when dealing with firearms. So I was very lucky that I had 4 years of basic military training. And that we worked with SA-80s, A2, and also M16s when I was doing the ROTC here. So in that sense, handling that is good. But again, because, after I finished that training, I still had to keep up with the training to make sure that I'm up to date with all the things that they use on set. Of course, on set, we don't use real firearms. We use, airsofts or, it could be rubber. But still, you want to know the working parts so that you look authentic when you're using it. And as a character, whether you're a specialist or not, so that you could project that. So I'm very lucky that here in the US, I get to work with Tactical Black and Kim, who is my instructor. So she really enforces the safety and understanding all the working parts, how to look a certain way, depending on what role you're playing. So in that sense, I think the preparation for these, it's quite overwhelming, the information that you get. And when you're working with firearms, depending on which one you're using, it's very different how you handle it, your body positions, how you react, and depending on what space you're in, the environment that you're in. So in that sense, it's a whole new world, I would like to say you should try it.
Oh,
I'm
a big advocate for guns. If you know me, you know. Big
All right, well, let's go on the firing
Doing
range.
it the proper way, though. We're doing it the proper way.
Yeah.
But one of the pictures there, I wanted to ask about your martial arts background. So could you let them know exactly what you are specialized in? Because you're not a novice, you're a specialist.
Well, you know what? We're always learning. We're always students because there's always so much more to learn. When you think you know, it's like
more
there's
for
so
you to
much
know.
more. In fact, when you gain your black belt, that's the beginning of your training.
Right.
So that's the thing. I think just because I'm black, that doesn't mean my training finishes. That's where it starts. The real training starts. So needless to say, I started with boxing and Muay Thai with a trainer back in London. So, but unfortunately, he passed away. And then, but the discipline that he gave me and the mental endurance, because my goodness, his class killed me. I was hyperventilating at the end of it, but I had to pretend that I was still okay. Yeah. Pass out after the class. And then I went to karate, just because, of course, it's a part of my heritage, but also because I love it.
Right.
Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi.
That
Grew up
was
with that.
Wax on, wax on. That's
hell yes, I
that's
still
my
work
thing.
on that. Yeah. So so karate, and then later on I went on to Eskrima.
Okay.
So with Dulce Pares, so in that sense, Filipino martial arts. So you've got armed and unarmed combat, and I think this is one of the kind of martial arts that is used a lot in films, just because it is so accessible. It's deadly. You could use any kind of weapon, and
We're talking like John Wick type stuff.
Exactly, John Wick, and Salat comes into it as well. But yeah, so those are the three things I mainly specialize in terms of martial arts.
Okay. Now, this is a point that I specialize in.
Ooh.
You've been a gift to me from day one to this point and continuous, because I know there's going to be a continuous friendship that we go on. I'm a fan also, so I will be watching. But
Likewise.
I always come bearing gifts for the gifts that are in front of me. So I want to gift you with the latest and greatest shoe pug hoodie.
And you know what? Pugs are my favorite.
I do know that.
dogs.
I do know
I
that.
love Frenchies.
Got you some shoe pug socks. And
Those
never-
socks are literally the best.
Oh
we
my
have
God.
so many pairs.
Which is the reason why I came for the queen behind the scenes right here.
Feeding your people.
You are
have no
appreciated.
Thank you.
I love pugs.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh, they're feisty and they sound asthmatic, but my
Yeah.
God,
Right.
so cute. Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
No, thank you. For myself and the fellas at Shoe Pugs.
Is this your brand as well?
It is a brand that I rep, I love, I live, breathe, eat, and sleep it. Jimmy and Isaac, shout out to the fellas at Shoe Pugs and
Ooh,
stuff.
shout out.
I'm definitely telling them I'm taking this pug with me to the moon. If I get there. If not the moon, we're going to go further. But yeah.
Oh, I'm totally going to fashion this tonight. Oh, these are so cute.
You're
Such a
going to
good
love
They
even
are
after
incredible.
wash.
They just kind of like hug your foot, almost like compression socks, but like not as intense.
Yeah, I stay shoe pugging and thugging, you know.
Yeah.
I stay. Yeah, even the merch, you know, just for again, for me it's just showing my appreciation to you, and I wear these on a regular, so just getting the pug more out there and just getting people to, you know, really love what they do and sport it.
Actually, did you know that there was an international pug meeting in Texas, Houston, like recently? Yeah.
No, I did
That
not.
must have
Whole
been
bunch
really
of-
loud.
I mean, it was on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this would literally be doggy heaven for me." I don't own a pug, but this is where
Yet.
I'll come in. I'll
when,
barge
when
into.
there's some sort of settling, you know, you'll have your stunt double pug with you.
Oh my gosh, that would be great. Just like an MIB.
Exactly like MIB.
Oh my gosh.
That's where I was going. Frank.
Frank, hell yes. I would love a Frank in my life.
We'll be working on that. Now, leave the viewers and listeners with some positivity to persevere over the no's that they're going to come across in life.
So I would like to say that there is no straight road to the top of the mountain. There are going to be some bumps on the way. You're going to be turning. There's going to be so many obstacles. But the main thing is that you are going to get there. So enjoy the journey while it lasts and learn from it. Learn from everything that you do. I think if you're passionate about something, make sure that you do everything that you possibly can to get yourself prepared for that moment, and keep fighting, keep going, and also believe in yourself. Be kind to yourself and support and surround yourself with people that are like-minded and who are going to support you and love you on the way.
Unconditional. That's the one word I took from all that. Unconditional love for not just yourself, for those around you. If you can't love yourself right, then others around you can't either.
Exactly.
So I love at this point for you to let them know how to find you, your Instagrams and everything. Let the viewers and listeners know.
All right, here we go, guys. So it is on emikoishii.com is my website, but you could also find me on Instagram at Emiko Jane Ishii and Facebook, Emiko Jane Ishii. Emiko Jane Ishii all around.
You can even Google her. She's about that life.
Googleable.
And you know who I am. It's your boy Xpress. And like that, we're gone.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate.